Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. So I hope you're all doing well, and I wanted to just formally say thank you to the new subscribers. So first of all, thank you so much for subscribing. I hope that you continue to enjoy the content. I've also noticed that my subscriber count seems to be fluctuating a little bit. And I know that YouTube, I've heard this on several channels, that they sometimes unsubscribe people. So I would humbly ask that you check and make sure you are still subscribed, because I can't tell whether it's YouTube doing it or if it's just some people unsubscribing. And if it is some people just unsubscribing, then, well, you know what? I wish those people well. I obviously was not the content creator for them if that's the case. But if it's a case of being unsubscribed, if you still like the content, and I hope you do, please resubscribe. So I want to just quickly discuss something that I saw on the interwebs, as I often do. I actually first saw this on the community post for Nerdette's Newstand channel, so I really got to give like the first, discovery, at least that I know of, to her. And then I saw it expanded upon a little bit on the Clownfish TV video. But apparently, from what I've been reading and some articles that I found online, apparently Jason Aaron is at it again. For those who don't know, Jason Aaron is a comic writer who's currently employed at Marvel. He's currently writing I believe it's the main Avengers title. And he got into some hot water with the fans, including myself, a few months ago when he wrote Avengers 20, which was basically the trial of She-Hulk. And the issue itself was actually called No Fun. And in that issue, in my opinion, and I made a few videos about it, you can look them up if you so choose, that he basically ruined the character. He has no idea what She-Hulk is or what She-Hulk was. So I went on like a 30-minute rant about that, and I stand by that rant. But apparently, he's at it again with two characters. One of them being Capt Marvel, the gift that just keeps on giving, like a hernia or a root canal. It just hurts so very good. Don't hurt me. But anyway, so there's this one image, right, where Captain Marvel is facing off against someone called Fire Lord. Yeah, all of us Avatar fans are pretty much thinking the same thing. No, it's not Zuko. Therefore, it is uninteresting. But anyway, it's facing off against some guy named Fire Lord. I don't know anything about the character. He might as well just be Johnny Storm for all I know, but that's not the issue. The issue is that he makes a very mild joke at her expense, saying that she can't tolerate the heat, right? So Carol, because this is modern day Carol Danvers, who has no personality, just out of the blue retorts with, "Oh, I bet next time you'll tell me to smile more." And as I've said in videos and in comments on other channels, this response from her makes absolutely no sense. First of all, even if you take all the superheroics and the multiple deaths and resurrections and all that, if you take away the Kree history and powers and all that, Carol Danvers still was in the Air Force for 10 years, right? You usually have to be in the Air Force for about 10 years to attain the rank of major from the research I've done. If there's anybody with any American military history who would know more, please let me know. But to my knowledge, it's about 10 years to earn that rank in the Air Force. So don't you think that after a decade in the Air Force, given that the Air Force, like every branch of the U.S. military is predominantly male, to my knowledge, the Air Force is about 20, at least today, is about 20% female, right? So around a fifth female. Now, take this back 10 years earlier, right? The mid to late 2000s. No doubt the percentage was lower. And then you have to go back even further, because you have to go back to when she actually enlisted. And it's not quite made clear in the modern continuity when she enlisted. right? So let's say for the sake of argument, it was like the late 90s when she enlisted. So let's be generous and say that the amount of women in the Air Force back in the late 90s was, say, 10%, right? Let's just keep it even, right? Just split it in half for the sake of argument. Don't you think that in that time period, especially going through basic training, which is hell, right? People yelling at you, drill sergeants yelling at you, insulting you, and you can't say a word back, right? Bossing you around, weeks of this, and then again, going on to have a 10-year career. Don't you think that at this point she would have developed a spine, that she would have developed a fierceness about her, right? That she wouldn't tolerate someone talking down to her, and she certainly wouldn't be bothered by this type of quip made at her expense. I highly doubt, again, just assuming that she enlisted back in the late 1990s, I don't imagine that a woman who isn't tough, right, who isn't made of tougher stuff, is going to get through that. Not just get through it, but then continue in the process for a decade of her life. Aaron, Jason, Ron. Carol Danvers, if you wrote her properly, you would know that she's not a mentally weak woman. Now, she's had her problems, yes, she has weaknesses, but she's not a mentally weak person. You can't get through all that and be mentally weak. You cannot go through legitimate hazing, which was still practiced back then, right? Legitimate hazing, legitimate, just people honestly, spouting all types of BS at you, right? Not sparing your feelings, not giving a damn how you think or feel. You can't put up with that type of thing and prove yourself for 10 years and then behave like this. It does not compute, right? You have to be made of some special stuff, a special sauce to go through all that. Number one, right? She should not be getting this triggered over someone making a fire joke. Number two, it shouldn't bother her in the least because she can turn the freaking binary. Okay? And no, she's still in the Capt Marvel costume. She's not binary form in that image. If she were, she'd have long flaming hair, her skin would be all red, she'd be in this very tacky white costume. I know my 80s X books. I know when I see Carol Danvers as binary, that she's not binary in that picture. Maybe she's tapped into some of the power, but she hasn't truly unleashed it. Right, so there's that. If anything, what she should do is just turn in the binary and then just say something like, what's that again about heat tolerance? Or if you want to make it, somewhat topical, well, I don't know if it's topical, but at least again, maybe like a music reference, do something like, this girl's on fire, or whatever it is. But not what you did, Jason Aaron, because all you did is just make her come across as whiny and unable to take an insult. This is comic books. Okay, everybody's insulting each other. Or did you forget that one of the biggest insult kings back in the day was Spider-Man himself? Okay? If you're going to write a strong female character, then you need to write her as resilient, as being able to take, right, and to give as well as she gets. Take it from a lifelong tomboy. That's how you deal with boys who are jerks. You give as good as you get. And if they challenge you to something, especially if they challenge you to a competitive thing, sports, video games, whatever it is, you don't just simply accept the challenge, you crush them. You defeat them utterly. It's like Azula's speech, right? We have defeated you for all eternity. Because that will shame him, but it will also make him respect you. I've been there several times. That's how you deal with a guy who's being a jerk. You beat him at his own game and then some. You don't whine about what he said to you, right? Especially if you're a grown woman with superpowers and you can freaking fly. Come on now. And then there's the second image from a different book, I think, or it could be the same book, I don't know, where it shows Absorbing Man, who's like kind of like a 2-bit villain, fighting female Thor, right? Jane Foster Thor, and he's swinging a literal ball and chain, interestingly enough. And he's going on about how, feminism needs to go and Thor's a man, and again, it's just very out of character for him. And the thing is that I'm reading this, and then I did a little bit of research because I'm not too familiar with Absorbing Man. And interestingly enough, Absorbing Man is married to the supervillainess Titania. And I'm wondering who Titania is. She was actually featured recently. You know the Star comic? You know the lady with the long red hair and the red lipstick, right? In the very 90s dark blue costume? That's Titania, right? This woman who, and I don't say this to be mean, but it's true, but who legitimately looks like she's a female bodybuilder on steroids. You're telling me that a guy married to a woman like her is going to be spouting the stuff that Jason Aaron has him saying in this fight against female Thor? I highly doubt it. And here's the thing. For Jason Aaron, and I've read a bit of his writing, for Jason Aaron, he doesn't know how to be subtle. Subtlety could come up, slap him in the face, and say, "Hi, my name is Subtlety," and he still wouldn't get it. And before anybody takes that as a call for assault, no, it's hyperbole. I'm being dramatic and somewhat comedic for effect. If you meet the man in real life, please do not harm him, and please do not contact him. I don't want to be accused of sending harassment. But anyway, right, this is the type of writer Jason Aaron is. He doesn't know how to keep his personal opinions or his personal grievances against the fans out of his work. And what's even worse about this is that he's not even, I'm not even going to say not necessarily a talented enough writer, but he's certainly not a mature enough writer to even know how to slip in these digs and insults and references to fans who are critical of his work in any subtle, meaningful way. He's just so on the nose about it, and he did this in Avengers 20, where She-Hulk literally beats a troll to death. She beats a troll king to death. Jason, I'm one of those female fans that Marvel, wants so bad. Let me give you a word of advice. Ruining my favorite female characters by making them completely opposite of the characters that I grew up knowing does not make me want to read your book, or more importantly, to buy it. Okay? The little bit of disposable income I have does not go to Marvel's comics. And this is a large reason why. If I'm going to read about a female superhero, I want to read about a female superhero, not about a woman who is, down in the dirt, depressed, and is not trying to work her way out of it. If I wanted to see that, I would just look in the mirror. I don't want to read a story about a woman who has no personality, who has no humor, who went through the military and then yet somehow came out actually more emotionally fragile, right, or more easy to trigger than I think most women in the military would be, from what I've seen of female soldiers and the like. See, Aaron, you don't know how to write your characters in character. You use the characters, in particular the female characters that you are assigned to, as mouthpieces. And you use the oftentimes male opponents that they have, right, as the stand-in for the critics or the fans or whatever it is. I don't know what sort of weird fantasy you have about beating fans to death or whatever it is, but you need to work that out on your own time maybe in your own comic, and stop poisoning Marvel's comics with this, because again, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read the ugliness of your soul. Okay? I want to see heroes being heroes. I don't want to read about your grievances with the fan base. Okay? Take care of that somewhere else. Stop basically inserting your vomit, right? The best way I can put it. Your vomit into the mouths of the heroes and the villains of these stories. Because I don't care. I don't care if you like the fans or not. And all this does is just turn me away. Right? I'm the woman that you want to read your comics and you want to buy your comics. All you're doing is pushing me away. All you're doing is repelling me. Okay? Your writing is repellent and abhorrent, in my opinion. Because you write a lot, but you don't say a damn thing. At least nothing worth value. But anyway, that's the video. So let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.